had too many Benjis on them. All right. And this is a federal case, a civil federal case where $132,000 was seized from Young Dolph, all right? And that was in the year February 2011, all right? So I want you to look up at the screen right now, and then this is the federal case what we're talking about where Young Dolph had the money seized from him in the airport, all right? So Young Dolph was on his way to see Reggie Wright Jr., all right? Reggie Wright Jr. was over there in California. He was running a dispensary and a grow house over there, and Young Dolph was dealing with him, all right? And for everybody out there that...
Man, this man has the audacity to call somebody else a snitch or a fed. This man has the audacity to call somebody a fed. Man, he's trying to get... Man, everybody he run in contact with, he trying to get 100 years. Man, somebody call this man to his own principal office. Tell him to cut that shit out. Somebody tell this man to cut it out, man. He the biggest fed on YouTube.
Don't know right now, Reggie Wright Jr. was, Young Dolph's plug. It was not Daddy-O. Daddy-O didn't have shit to do with Young.
Damn. That man just told it all. Boy, I tell you, man, I just don't know how people got the couth to call somebody a rat or a snitch or a fed, and they sitting right there, and basically the man just point blank put a whole charge on another man, regardless of what the Fed might know, may not know. It don't matter, man. You don't sit there and break that thing down, play for play, boy. But cut it out, your police ass.
Dog getting on top like that, all right? Despite what the whole world thinks right now, man, it was Reggie Wright Jr., the same Reggie Wright Jr. that was caught up in the Tupac and the Biggie assassination. He was the CEO of Death Row Records. He was right there with Suge, and he was the cop that worked for the LAPD, and his father, Reggie Wright Sr., was a lieutenant also, okay? And Reggie Wright Jr. went down in the Peter Rule Mafia in the Grape Street indictment. They went down in 2013, man. Reggie Wright Jr., he was convicted. He got 18 months for money laundering, and his father also got 1 year probation. And these are two cops. One cop Young Dolph was dealing with, was his plug. And Reggie Wright Jr. also took to YouTube, and he has a page, man. He went on YouTube and started talking about Young Dolph after the death, man. So Young Dolph got hit in the airport February 23rd, 2011. So they had an indictment on Peter Roll Mafia and the Grape Street Crips, and it said...
My thing is this. There's one thing to have access to Pacer and look up paperwork. I mean, that ain't no secret. But there's another thing, man. How this man be having just I know he what can I say? I don't even know how to say it. The man got me lost for words sitting there being a police like this, man, but going to sit there and call other people rats. Man, this man fool, man. He sit there and want to give himself the street cred of the year when he was in the streets, this, that, and the third, or whatever, and sit up there and call people snitches and rats and tell people they don't need to go listen to nobody else's page. Whenever a man did 23 years, 9 months for holding water, finally wanted to do what he did, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with none of it. However, the man admitted, said that. So you ain't saying nothing the man ain't said, but you want to sit there and say he undercover. Man, shit. He ain't undercover. He telling you you're a rat. You the one acting like you ain't a rat, sitting there calling yourself a journalist. Boy, cut it out, boy.
is in or around 2013, man. In or around 2013. Look up at the screen right now. So this indictment came about 2 years after Young Dolph's, stop in the airport, which, the police took his phones and they took that money, all right? And when they went through the phones, I want you to look up at the screen right now. And I'm going to read this out to you right now about these cell phones. They said Thornton was carrying three.
Read it out. Read it out, Officer Onan. Read it for us, Officer Onan. Come on now. Read it out. We know you know how to read affidavits and warrants. Read it out for us.
Cellular phones, 2 iPhones and 1 Nokia model. Drug traffickers often carry multiple cellular phones to avoid detection by law enforcement. On the Nokia cell phone, Detective Reuter found the following string of text messages would have been received on February 21st, 2011. I'm in town. I can give you these for a better price than what I told you. Okay, I can wait. Hit me up when you get there. I have 13 OG and 8 others that are very nice. I'm trying to leave town. When will you be here? Detective Rudemeyer showed the text messages to Thornton and told Thornton that he believed that the text messages referred to marijuana transaction. Thornton admitted that the text messages were about marijuana, but claimed the numbers referred to grams, not pounds. Thornton also stated that he was in town to buy small quantities of marijuana, but that the majority of the money he was carrying was for the purchase of a car. Now, when Young Dolph was pulled over at the LAX airport, all they could do was take his money. No connection could be confirmed, but approval for surveillance on the biggest supplier was granted. Come to find out, Reggie Wright Jr., one-time Compton police officer, bodyguard to Suge Knight, was the HNIC, the head nigga in charge. After 4 years of surveillance by the FBI, Wright, Grape Street Mafia, and the Peter Royal Mafia members were indicted for distribution of narcotics from California to Memphis. Wright did 18 months, as did some others, despite being more involved than the men were convicted and sentenced to 20 years plus. I think this group convinced themselves that Young Dolph getting caught started the surveillance, despite what the court said about an intercepted package by Reggie Wright Jr. So here we have these guys locked up, man, and some of these guys, from the Grape Street was blaming Young Dolph, for those phones being taken at the airport for, their convictions and their indictment, man. And you got to see why these guys said that. They said that because, Young Dolph was stopped in 2011 and they got the phones. And when they got the phones, they went through the phones and everything, and they saw the messages between him and Reggie Wright Jr., allegedly, all right? And that right there opened up a can of worms, okay?
First off, you reading off paperwork from an old case, but you the one call yourself telling everybody else they shouldn't put no label on nothing. They shouldn't report on nothing unless you got paperwork. Where's your paperwork saying Grape Street or this Wright dude, ex Reggie Wright? Everybody know who Reggie is. He all in the document and everything, but where's the paperwork saying they mad or that they have any animosity against Dolph? If I ain't mistaken, Dolph been doing his thing up until the day he got killed. So if they had something against him, they'd have been knocked that boy off or cut him off. So, I mean, where's your, you be reaching, man. You need to quit reaching, quit trying to put them charges on them people out there, man. The man just did time for selling weed and stuff. Now you gonna try to put him in a murder case? Boy, you need to cut it out, boy.
But not a whole can of worms. So after the indictment, Reggie Wright Jr. was convicted. He did 18 months for money laundering. Okay, he came home. His father got 1 year probation for putting the money into his accounts and everything like that, all right? So now Young Dolph is out on the streets. These guys locked up, man. And Reggie Wright Jr., he contracted COVID while he was in prison, and it almost killed him. All right, it almost killed him. So he came home around 2021, I think around September 2021. Young Dolph still on the street. Things still going as normal, man. But one thing I gotta bring to you right now, and this is the story of, how Young Dolph met Yo Gotti. And a lot of people don't know this. Young Dolph met Yo Gotti through Daddy-O, okay? So Young Dolph met Yo Gotti through Daddy-O, and that's how the relationship was built between those two. And then they eventually, fell out because, Yo Gotti wanted Young Dolph to sign with him. Yo Gotti knew that Young Dolph was the plug in the city, and he had the city on lock, and they was calling him the king. And, everybody verified that, and they stamped it. So Yo Gotti went to, Young Dolph and was like,
First off, who verified that? Who stamped that? I ain't hear nobody call Dolph and long live Dolph. Don't get me wrong, man. Long live Dolph. I wasn't a huge fan of his, but the more I watch documentaries and all, he's still on business, and he been straight up dude. But him and God ain't nothing but entertainers and me. I wasn't planning on meeting him, and so in no way am I gonna lose sleep over anything the next man may do to the other. But I'm gonna keep it real and say nobody crowned Dolph King of Memphis. Dolph ain't even crowned himself. He never said, I'm the King of Memphis. The album's called King of Memphis. If you heard him break it down, he talking about all the black kings. He talking about he's a black king. I mean, everybody calls theyself a king and stuff like that. So now Dolph talking about King of Memphis. In other words, a successful black man doing his thing. Never once did he say, I'm the King of Memphis. He even said out of his mouth. So y'all quit trying to boost that thing more than it is. That's why y'all got that boy head knock off, because y'all makes this out of something that it wasn't supposed to be. And if them boy crown him the King of Memphis, then why them boy, the whole city know what's going on? And man, listen, that man has shooters after shooters out there knocking his head off, and people act like whatever, you know what I'm saying? So much for being the King of Memphis. If them boy ain't riding with him, they riding with Gotti. So boy, cut it out, boy.
I want you to sign with me. And then Young Dolph was like, nah, I can't sign with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I got too much paper to sign with you. And that's how the war started between, Gotti and Young Dolph, is because Daddy-O brought him near. It didn't work out the way that they thought it was going to work out. And Young Dolph was like, nah, I'm going to be independent. I'm going to run my own shit. I don't need you, Yo Gotti. I do not need you. So during the course of Yo Gotti trying to sign Young Dolph was still in the streets, man. Young Dolph was looking out for Big Jook, which is Yo Gotti's big brother. And, Young Dolph was hitting him. He was hitting him with that pack. And Young Dolph made us.
First off, this man's running with, man, you a groupie, bruh. Just because Dolph said he was looking out for Jook, this, that, and the third, now you running with the whole thing. Dolph been looking out for Jook. Man, you ain't know what really going on, bruh. It ain't. Man, you sit up there and say you got ties to Memphis, all this. Man, I ain't really been seeing too many people get on that panel from Memphis, but one or two. The rest of them get on there and cut your ass out. You be had to run them boy off. I mean, come on, bro. Cut it out now. Cut it out. Chill with the groupie stuff, bro. Chill with the groupie stuff.
song about it, referring to Big Jook was like, I was looking out for you even when your brother wasn't looking out for you, motherfucker. So how could you try to play me like this, man? And that's how this whole
Matter of fact, what a black and white on that. Other than a song, where the black and white on some proof, other than that man rapping a song, and he ain't say all that neither. So quit putting stuff on it. But where's the black and white showing, or anybody else even backing up with proof that that's the case? Man, listen, man. Dolph did a thing. Salute to Dolph. But he was an entertainer. He was an independent artist. He knew how to make moves. Yeah, I'm sure he probably did a little thing. But you act like he just raped for Edmond or something of Memphis, man. Come on, man. Come on, bro. When you think about the game, you don't think about that boy. You think about Patterson and boy, man. Come on, bro. Cut it out. Quit being a groupie.
war started, man. Young Dolph and Yo Gotti, the situation that Yo Gotti was just mad at Young Dolph because Young Dolph wouldn't sign with him. All right? And Yo Gotti knew that Young Dolph was the plug. He knew that Young Dolph had Memphis and the state of Tennessee on lock. So he wanted to, put him on his team, put him up under his wing so that he could, relinquish the throne. So the beef got real thick, all right? The beef got real.
Hold on, did this man just sit there and say he had the state of Tennessee on lock? Man, I'm about to cut this. Boy, I'm about to cut this off, bro. You went from being the king of Memphis to now he the king of Tennessee, bro. Man, cut it out, bro. Boy, you're a number one fan. That's why I'm gonna name this content Onan, number one fan / groupie of the late Young Dolph, alleged king of Memphis. We out.